Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Let's all, let me see if I can share only that. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Let's all bow down our heads for the pranama mantra and join our hands. I'm not taking any repetition, just in the interest of time, but as we progress, we can try to see if one of you can chant this as well. Let's all join our hands for the pranama mantra of Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Seveya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yatkripātamaham vande Shri Gurum Dīnataranam Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namo Pankajanabhaya Namo Pankajamaline Namo Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangre Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Let's all bow down to our founder Acharya A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, and our Shiksha Guru Suranath Prabhu, and start the session. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you for joining this call and giving me the opportunity to talk about Bhagavatam. Today we are going to go through the 4th chapter of Bhagavatam, Canto 1. This chapter is named as the Appearance of Narad Muni. Let me share my screen. So this is a very, very beautiful chapter where Narad Muni appears into the scene. We will quickly see why that is and how it is all unfolding. So far we have seen some of the questions being answered. One second. So far, we've seen the questions being answered by the Sutta Goswami. Shaunakadi Rishis asked many questions, and some of the questions were being answered by Sutta Goswami, right? And here again, Shaunakadi Rishis are asking more questions regarding the Bhagavatam itself, the background or the history of Bhagavatam, about Vyasadev, about Parikshit Maharaj. And this chapter, the entire Canto 1 is actually question and answer session only between the Shaunakadi Rishis and Sutta Goswami. And here there are 4 main questions being asked. So the chapter goes this way. The first 13 shlokas are the questions from Shaunakadi Rishis, okay, to Sutta Goswami. And who is Sutta Goswami? Can anybody tell me?
Let's see.
He is a disciple of Sukadev Goswami and he is a son of Romaharsha. Okay, that is Sutta Goswami. He is a very good devotee, great devotee, and we described many of his qualities in chapter 1. One of the qualities was that he studied the scriptures very well and he was able to give it in a very nice, down to earth, like the way we can implement, the way we can understand, he was able to bring down to the common people. And he was very, very humble. when he asked questions, and he was very sincere. And that's why Sukdev Goswami particularly chose him to give Bhagavatam to the world, right? There are many qualities given in chapter, I don't know, chapter 2, I think, many qualities described of Suta Goswami. When we start the chapter, there were things described as why Suta Goswami is the person who is giving, and why Sukadev Goswami is giving it to Parikshit Maharaj, and why to Parikshit Maharaj. All these qualities, it is not just to read through, glance through. We have to imbibe some of these qualities. And how do we imbibe these qualities? By listening more and more to these kind of Harikatha, then the Anartha in us, all the Papa in us will be washed out. As it keeps washing, these qualities will start manifesting in a sadhaka's heart, right? And that is when Bhagavatam unreveals itself also. Only when we have these qualities. One of the greatest quality a person who wants to engage with Bhagavatam is nirmatsara, right? Nirmatsara means being non-envious. Only then Bhagavatam will reveal to us. Otherwise, it is very difficult to understand Bhagavatam. So the Shaunakadi rishis chose Suta Goswami because of his good qualities. They knew that he could give the scripture in the way they could digest, and he had done lot of swadhyay. He had done lot of research on the scriptures, and he was a very humble and sincere devotee of Sukadev Goswami. The heritage also we spoke about, how he was a disciple of Sukadev Goswami, whose father itself is Vyasadev, who is an incarnation of the Lord, literary incarnation of the Lord, right? That's why they approached Suta Goswami. Now Vyasadeva divides the Vedas. We will see a little bit of history of who Vyasadeva is also. From shloka 14 to 25, we will see who Vyasadeva is and how he divided the Vedas, and how he was able to give us the 5 different Vedas, right? And from 26 to 31, it describes the dissatisfaction of Vyasadeva. In spite of writing the Vedas, he was dissatisfied. And at that time, his guru, you should remember this, Vyasadev's guru is Narad Muni. Why I am saying this is, Narad Muni is the inspiration or the motivation for all pure devotees. There is no canto in Bhagavatam where there is no mention of Narad Muni. Narad Muni is mentioned in every canto. Every canto there is one episode where Narad Muni inspires. And why? Because Bhagavatam means bhakti, and bhakti means Narad Muni. Krishna gave that bhakti portion of potency to Narad Muni. And that's why we see Narad Muni in every canto. Okay, that is how the chapter contents goes. Let's get started. Okay, so the questions from Shaunakadi Rishis, the 14 shlokas or the 13 shlokas describe these crux of that is this. So what is the background or the history of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam? Where did Vyasadeva get his inspiration? How did he get inspired to write this Bhagavatam? How did Hastinapur citizens recognize Sukadev Goswami? Why? Because Sukadev Goswami was roaming around like a mad person, and nobody could have a conversation also with Sukadev Goswami, because he was a transcendentalist. He never he had rejected all the mundane activities of this world, and he was completely searching for that absolute truth. So he never engaged with anybody. Even when he used to go to ask Bhiksha, he used to only stay there for the amount of time that they can get the milk from the cow and give it to him. If they delay even in that, he used to leave that place. And that day he used to not eat anything. And even they say that he used to go to certain places. The person's place, whose place he went to, it was a blessing for them, because it is very difficult to get association of such elevated souls who are completely transcendental. And then the details of the birth and activities of Parikshit Maharaj. Why Parikshit Maharaj only? He had so much of opulence and everything. Just because of the curse, how was he able to give up? See, it's very difficult, right? For us also as sadhaka, if Suranath Prabhu or one of the preachers just told you, hey, today you're joining ISKCON, from tomorrow you get up at 3 o'clock, don't eat outside, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, Mangalarati you have to do. If they had given you all that, from 0 to 1 you cannot go. It is not possible. But here, if you see Parikshit Maharaj's life history, right, he went from 0 to 1 immediately. The minute the curse happened to him, he was able to give up his kingdom. He was ruling the entire world at that time. The comfort that he had, and if you see, Kshatriyas are always in passion, because they want to conquer more, they want to do all the, so suddenly from that, how could he come to that Vishuddha Sattva in one second, not even 1 second, right? As soon as he got the curse, he just gave up everything. He told his wife and children, I am done, thank you so much, and he walked away from his house. And then he started searching at the bank of Ganga. He started searching for a guru who can tell him what is the best thing I can do in 7 days. I'm going to die in 7 days. What can I do? And even if you're sitting, say, suppose out of fear, you give up everything and you come and sit at the banks of Ganga, will the mind concentrate on Krishna? Will the mind concentrate on the Harikatha? It'll always be concentrating. I'm going to die 7 days. This is the 6th day. This is the 5th day. The bird is going to touch me and then I'll be in fight. Only those thoughts will be going on. How come he was able to, concentrate even on Bhagavatam? If you see the entire Bhagavatam, Sukadev Goswami stops in between and tests Parikshit Maharaj to test the intensity of his hearing capacity, how attentively he is hearing. And if you see, all answers from Parikshit Maharaj was correct. And in fact, he stops at certain points and he asks more questions. If a person is going to die in 7 days, do you forget that if a person is flying out, for me, flying, I have anxieties. If you're flying out, right? Now I have to check in. Now I have to take my bag. Those are the thoughts even to fly out, right? It is just a flight that I'm taking. So imagine if you're giving up your body, what your thought would be. So that is what they're asking. How was he able to do that? How did Maharaj Parikshit meet Sukadev Goswami? How did he meet? It is very difficult to find Sukadev Goswami. Where did he find it? See, that minute, he didn't waste any time. He went to the Ganga banks and immediately Sukadev Goswami came there. How did he come there? A person who is not visible, he is invisible to the entire world. How did he come there? Those were the questions by Shaunakadi Rishis. Now, Shaunakadi Rishis' first question, right? The understanding of the Bhagavatam. How did Bhagavatam manifest? How did Vyasadev write that Bhagavatam? That is the first question. So we'll go through the details of that. Shaunakadi Rishi's eagerness to hear Bhagavatam has increased due to its being as brilliant as the sun. The last chapter, chapter 3, we ended in Shloka 28. How that Bhagavatam is like the sun, right? As Krishna took his foot from the world, Bhagavatam as a sun rose from the eastern horizon. That is what was written. So as soon as they heard that intensity to hear Bhagavatam, oh, this must be best thing that we can do for this in this Kali Yuga. They understood that. So that's why they were very eager to hear. Their eagerness increased as soon as they heard. There is like COVID, right? How many of us did not think about Plaxovid or whatever the COVID medication, right? Pfizer, the medication which came. Oh, we have to get that. Where are we getting? There is no stock. Where is the stock? How can I get? How can I book an appointment? These were the thoughts. It's exactly like that, okay? Because Kali Yuga is like a disease in our body. That is what the next thing says. Bestowing knowledge on those in the darkness of Kali Yuga. We are all in darkness. We are all affected by COVID. How do we get that Pfizer medication? Right? That is the same. See, ours is material, but theirs is spiritual. That is the difference. We have to rise to that level. Shaunaka recognized Krishna Katha as the medicine to cure all the ill fate of Kali Yuga. There is only one medicine. See, many diseases are there and each disease has certain different composition medication. But here, Shaunakadi Rishi understood that all the effects of Kali Yuga, right? All the bad things which are going to happen in Kali Yuga, there's only one medicine, and that is the Harikatha of Krishna. And what greater than Bhagavatam, which gives the best Harikatha of Krishna? He probes deeper, asking Suta about the Bhagavatam's history. Vyasadeva has already compiled the Vedas, then why did he go through the trouble of writing the Bhagavatam? See, this is a very important question. See, Vedas were already written. We could have easily gone and read the Vedas. Then why write Bhagavatam, right? That was his question. Then what inspired Vyasadeva to compile Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam? First is history of Bhagavatam, background of Bhagavatam, and then why did he write the Bhagavatam in spite of the Vedas, and what inspiration, where did he get his inspiration to write the Bhagavatam? Now we will see a little bit about Vyasadeva. Great sage Vyasadeva saw anomalies in the duties of the millennium. This happens on the earth in different ages due to the unseen force of time. So he started seeing that, Kali Yuga's effect has started taking place. So what happens is, when you move from one yuga to another yuga, it is not like December 31st, Jan 1st came, Jan 1st, next yuga is starting. All changes will happen overnight. No, it is not like that. One yuga and another yuga, there will be an overlap. You will slowly start seeing the effects of the next yuga in the previous yuga itself. And that is what happened to Vyasadeva. He started seeing the signs of Kali Yuga already in Dvapara Yuga itself. Right? And that's why, and he says it is going to happen. It is like day and night, right? After night, day should come. After day, night should come. It is like that only. One yuga to another yuga transition, nobody can stop it. It is the force of time, the unseen force of time, which will push us into that age of Kali Yuga. Nobody can stop it. But what can you do? You can always wear gloves. That is what Bhagavatam is. That is what he's going to talk about. The great sage, who was fully equipped in knowledge, could see through his transcendental vision the deterioration of everything material due to the influence of age. He could also see that the faithless people in general would be reduced in duration and would be impatient due to the lack of goodness. Thus, he contemplated for the welfare of men in all statuses and order of life. The same thing I've repeated in the next few slides, but we will go through that. So what did he see? I'll quickly go through that. So this is a background. What is the background of Vyasadeva? Vyasadeva was a son of Parasara Muni and Satyavati. And this Bhagavatam, when this is a time period, see, Bhagavatam is very difficult to understand in the timeline point of view. It goes front, it comes back, it goes forward. It is very difficult. So here we are giving the time when Bhagavatam was written. It was written in the third part of Dwapara Yuga in the 20th cycle of Vaivasvata Manvantara. Okay. Current Manvantara is also my Vaivasvata Manvantara. In this Manvantara only, the third cycle, third part of Dwapara Yuga, this Bhagavatam was written. And why did Vyasadeva write? That is the essence. Why did he write? That is what we are coming to, that question. He had a transcendental vision where he could see the past, present and the future. With that vision, he started seeing the Kali Yuga, the people who were dull-headed, unlucky, everything. We studied that in Shloka 1.1.10. I've given here for reference. Alpayushu Sabhya Kalau Asmin Yuge Janaha. That means Alpayushu. And then Kalau, that means they were always fighting. And Mandasu Manda Buddhi, Matayor. And Mandabhagya, ill luck. All these four effects are there in people. So how can they do bhakti with that? And even they have bad memory. So how can they remember the rules and regulations of doing bhakti? He started feeling bad for the people of Kali Yuga. And he wanted to do something for the welfare of the people, irrespective of the Varnas and the Ashrama. Anybody, anywhere should be able to follow that, right? That is what he said, he thought. Vyasadeva foresees the degradation of the people of the age of Kali and deeply contemplates that the welfare of the people of Kali Yuga. He thus concluded, compiled the Vedic literature in a more easily understood way. So he started thinking, if I give the Vedas directly, they will not be able to understand. So what he did, he took the Vedas and he divided it into 4 parts. Okay. And that is how we get the 4 different Vedas: Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajur Veda, Atharva Veda. And he gave each of his disciples the ownership of one Veda. Rig Veda was given to Palaya Rishi, and Samaveda was given to Jaimini Rishi. Yajur Veda was given to Vaishampayana Rishi. Atharva Veda was given to Samantam Rishi, okay, Samanta Muni. And each of it they developed further, they propagated that, they learnt it very well, they had their own disciples and they started propagating that. He also gave the 5th Veda. The 5th Veda is the Purana, Mahabharata and Itihasa. He put it all together and gave it as a 5th Veda. And the Puranas were actually given to Romaharsha. And Romaharsha's son is whom Suta Goswami, to whom Shaunaka the rishis are asking questions, because Romaharsha was killed by our Baladev ji, and that's why it was transitioned, the Puranas were transitioned to Suta Goswami. We've seen that history, how Romaharsha was actually killed by Balram ji when he did not pay obeisances to Balaram ji, and then he was brought back just to give the Puranas to Suta Goswami. And that's why in the first canto, first chapter or second chapter, when we said Suta Goswami knows all the Vedas, and he's done Parayan because of this history only, that he got a transition from his father to learn all these Puranas. And then we'll see, significance of the Mahabharata. A little bit we'll see why is it. Out of compassion, the great sage thought it would wise that this would enable men to achieve the ultimate goal of life. Thus he compiled the great historical narration called the Mahabharata for women, laborers and friends. See, sometimes it is very, very difficult. Sometimes no, it is always difficult to understand the Vedas. In Kali Yuga, even men who are very, very spiritual, they have done a lot of rituals and everything, even for them to understand the Vedas is very difficult. And that's why Vyasadev thought, let me give it in a story form and put the characters in such a way that they understand what is good, what is the goal of life, ultimate goal of life. The entire essence of Mahabharata is our Bhagavad Gita, right? It is our Bhagavad Gita. So he gave this Mahapurana, this Mahabharata, so that people can easily understand in a story format. Now question 2 about Sukadev Goswami. Why did Sukadev Goswami? Because Sukadev Goswami is an elated person. How did he come there? How did he happen to come to Hastinapur? That question is being answered here, and we will see a little bit of background of Sukadev Goswami, who he is also. He is the son of Vyasadev, and he is a great devotee of the Lord. Who Vyasadeva is a great devotee of the Lord, and his son is Sukadev Goswami. Vyasadeva actually prayed to the Lord to have a son who will give Bhagavatam to the world, and that's how he got his wife conceived Sukadev Goswami. Sukadev Goswami was a monist whose mind was always concentrated in monism. What is monism? To become one with the Lord. Okay, that was his that was his understanding of spirituality, transcendental to mundane activities. He didn't want to engage in any of the mundane activities. Okay, he was always thinking of how, in search of truth. He was in search of the absolute truth. For him, getting up, taking a bath, having children, going to work, all this he did not like. He didn't want to do any of these things, and that's why it says he was transcendental to the mundane activities. But being unexposed, he appeared like an ignorant person, because he did not want to expose his thought. See, the other person, can anybody think of another person who did this? Who behaved like a mad person just because they didn't want to engage with mundane activities? Who was the other person in Bhagavatam who behaved like a dull-headed person? Canto 5. You should all study.
Jadabharata Mathaji.
Who is that? Who said that? Bharti Mataji?
Yes, Mathaji.
Yes, it is Jadabharata. You're right, Mataji. So it is
Thank you.
Jadabharata. Jadabharata also behaved like a dull-headed person just because he did not want to engage with the worldly activities. Because he thought if he engages with the worldly activities, he will forget Krishna. He wanted to only, do devotional service and have all his mind and heart was always with Krishna. Same here. Here, Sukadev Goswami is a little changed because he didn't know Krishna as a supreme personality of Godhead. He knew that there is an absolute truth, but he did not know who it was. While Sri Vyasadeva was following his son, beautiful young damsels, this I told you, the story, the way Sukadev Goswami was born is, he was born as a 17-year-old. He just paid obeisances to his parents and he told his mother, whenever you need me, I will come back. And he just walked away. When he was walking away, his father goes running behind him. That is what is being described here. While Sri Vyasadeva was following his son, beautiful young damsels were bathing naked, covered their bodies with cloth. Although Vyasadeva himself was not naked, but they had not done so when his son passed that way. The sage inquired about this. So what happened is, Vyasadeva was running behind Sukdev Goswami. Sukdev Goswami was naked and he was walking away from home. He said, thank you for giving birth, and he just walked away. And Vyasadeva started running behind him. Sukha, 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 he will go behind him. There will be young girls who are taking bath. They all will not close their body because they are all naked in the lake. They do not close themselves. They do not feel any shy when Sukadeva Goswami went. They were happily engaged in taking a bath. But when Vyasadeva went, they'll all close their out of shyness. So Vyasadeva questions them. My son is younger than me. He's just 17-year-old. I'm very old person. But you closed your body when I came, but not when my son came, who is in the young youth stage. So the young damsels answer, see, for him, he doesn't have a difference between a man and a woman. He doesn't see this world the way you see. For you, there is a desire, but for him, there is no desire at all in his heart. Desire to be in this world, to engage in this world is there. When you called him son itself, that itself is a desire. See, if you are completely transcendental, everybody is the same for you. Who is a son, who is a daughter, who is a husband, who is a wife in that, right? So he's saying you called him a son and you're running behind him and you have that desire. You know the difference, but your son doesn't know. Even though he's 17 years old, he's not from this world. He's completely, so that is what the sage inquired about this, and the young ladies replied that his son was purified and when looking at them made no distinction between male and female. But the sage made that distinction. That is a difference. When he entered the city of Hastinapur, now Delhi, after wandering, so that was a history of Sukdev Goswami. Now we are coming back to where Sukdev Goswami, Parikshit Maharaj is waiting for him in the banks of river Ganga. When he entered, who entered? Sukdev Goswami entered the city of Hastinapur, now in Delhi, after wandering in the province of Kuru and Jangala, appearing like a madman, deaf and dumb, right? On dumb and retarded. He enters that place. Actually, when he entered the banks of Ganga, many kids were following him. They were teasing him. They were following him because he was naked. He was actually blue in color. He had Krishna's color. He was blue in color and he walked, but he was actually very good looking, it is said. So two groups of people followed him. One are the kids because they wanted to throw stones at him and play with the, tease him, and women who are at proper young age, they looked at Sukdev Goswami and they liked him so much and they also followed because he had the Rupa of Krishna only. He had Krishna's color, and the transcendental thing, you cannot hide it in the heart. Wherever they go, it will come out, and that's what happened. He, Sukadev Goswami, was accustomed to staying at the door of a householder only as long enough for a cow to be milked, and he did not just stay, just sanctify that residence, just to sanctify that residence. So here it is given the greatness of Sukadev Goswami. Sukadev Goswami never stayed in a place more than the time required to milk a cow, right? Beyond that, he will not stay. And even if he goes to somebody's place, he is purifying that place. Not that they are doing something to him. He is purifying that place. And such a person comes in search of Parikshit Maharaj to give him association. And he did not say, okay, 2 minutes, you milk the cow, I'm going. He didn't do that. He stayed with him for the full time of 7 days and 7 nights. So how did this happen, right? That is the main question. Now we'll come to it'll all come together at the end of the chapter. All these questions will be answered at the end of the chapter. Parikshit Maharaj's birth and amazing activity. So how did Parikshit Maharaj appear in the, he appeared in the womb of Uttara, right? And then Ashwatthama had he had sent an arrow to kill our Parikshit Maharaj. At that time, Uttara comes running. Krishna was about to leave Hastinapur to go to Dwaraka. At that time, Pahi Pahi Yogeshwara, she comes running. She comes running even though she had such great stalwart, soldiers like, kings who were able to protect her. She doesn't go to anybody. She directly comes to Krishna and she says, please save me. I'm not asking you to save me, but I actually want you to save my child in the womb, because he is the only Kuru who is left, right? Nobody else is left. All the Pandava Putras are dead. All the, Kauravas are dead at that point. So she comes running, and I don't want my child to die, and that's why I'm coming to you. And Krishna, he was there in front also, but he enters into the womb of Uttara also as some size of a thumb. He enters into the womb of Uttara, and it is said that the arrow had actually pierced the walls of the womb, and it was actually fire which was burning. It would have burnt the entire child in the womb. And the Parikshit Maharaj actually saw Krishna. See, it is very beautiful. It is, Acharyas say that in this lifetime, we all do lot of sadhana. And if by chance, which is very rare, our sadhana is perfected, we will be able to see Krishna at the end of our life, right? We will be able to see Krishna because of our perfection in bhakti. Here there is Parikshit Maharaj who is seeing Krishna and then doing bhakti. See, it's ulta. We do bhakti to see Krishna, and Parikshit Maharaj is ulta. He saw Krishna and then he came out and did bhakti, right? So that is a beauty. And he looks at Krishna, and immediately Krishna takes care of him, and then he comes out of the womb. And we know the history, right? How it all happened after the Kurukshetra war, at the end of Kurukshetra war. Now, Parikshit Maharaj was a great ruler. He was the greatest of the greatest ruler who ruled the entire world at that time. And such a great king, what happened to him? Why was he cursed? So what happens is the Kali manifests in the form of a black person with the mukut and everything. With golden mukut he comes, black person. We will see that in chapter 16 and 17 in detail, but I will quickly glance through the katha for you. So he comes and he is actually hitting a bull. He is hitting a bull's leg. The bull is standing on only one leg. Okay, and then Parikshit Maharaj, the bull and the cow are having a conversation, and he's hitting the bull which has only one leg. All three legs are gone for the bull. One more leg he takes, and the bull will fall down. And immediately Parikshit Maharaj comes to the scene and he says, this is my kingdom. Forget, touching a cow or a bull. You can't even touch a cow or a bull, because he was propagating spirituality. Everybody was spiritual at that time. How come you are hitting that? And he immediately takes a sword to kill. That is the picture it is shown here. It is a picture of Kali. This is Kali. He is black in color. He is trying to cut his head. Immediately Kali falls to his leg, and he says, see, it is not me. I've been given the task by Krishna to start Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga has started. It's about to begin. And where should I live? I have to do my service too, he says. And then Parikshit Maharaj says, go and live where gold is too much. Where gold is too much, go live there. He would have told him that, and then there is a big conversation, and he says, everybody in your kingdom is so good that there is no place where gold is. And then he gives him the places, 4 places where people are drinking, where prostitution is happening, where people are playing, gambling. Those are the places you can reside. He gives him 4 more places, because he says there is no gold in this kingdom. And then in that thought, he is going for hunting. Who? Parikshit Maharaj. He goes to hunting, and with that thought only he is hunting, and suddenly he becomes very thirsty. See, those days hunting, Parikshit Maharaj is a great devotee of the Lord. So how can he kill an animal, that question may come. It is not like that. He was actually practicing his skills. Sometimes they had to go to the forest and practice their skills. That is a hunting that they do. They do not hunt to eat that meat or hurt the animals, because he's a devotee, and a devotee will not hurt even a small ant. So he was doing that, and he gets very tired. So in his mind, that Kali's thing is going on, and he just goes hunting, and then he is very tired, and he sees a hut of Angira Muni, I think. Shamik Rishi. It is Shamik Rishi's hut he goes to. And Shamik Rishi here is busy doing tapasya. He enters the hut. Even if, see, for Muni, he doesn't have to pay respects to anybody while he's doing tapasya. But when a king comes, he has to pay obeisances. He has to at least welcome him home, which Shamik Rishi did not do. When he did not do that, he calls out to him at least 2 or 3 times, and he says, I want water. He doesn't look up. At that time, what happens is Parikshit Maharaj takes a dead snake and throws it at some Shamik Rishi. This news, and he walks out, and he doesn't stay there, he just walks out. Parikshit Maharaj walks out, and Shamik Rishi opens his eyes, and he sees a dead snake. Between them, there is no conversation, or nobody gets hurt. Okay, they'll think, okay, I should have paid respects. Immediately, Parikshit Maharaj, while he turns to go walk away, he realizes his mistake. He says, why did I do that? He starts feeling bad. He feels the remorse. He is not that kind of a person that he would throw a snake because that Muni did not respond to him. But something happened and he did that. So this one is Bhagavad Gita chapter 18, shloka 14, I think. The 5 causes, right? The 5 causes which makes us do things. The Supreme Lord is the approver. Even the soul, the prakriti, the instrument in senses, everything is there. See, he took a snake, that is the senses. He took the snake and he threw. But his heart, he didn't want to do that. It just happened in a moment, fraction of a moment it happened. It was the Supreme Lord's, approval that it had to happen. Adhishtanam, Karanam, Cheshta, all that we read, right? This is the example of that, where Krishna wanted this to be happening. Okay, he turns and he feels that remorse. Arey, I shouldn't have done that. These things. By then, one kid would have seen it, or somehow the news travels to his 9-year-old or 11-year-old son. Right? Shringi Muni, Shamik Rishi's son, is playing with all the other Brahmana boys, and he hears that. As soon as he hears that, he will curse. He will curse Parikshit Maharaj. What does he curse Parikshit Maharaj? He says, let him die in 7 days. Immediately, Shamik Rishi feels very bad. See, Parikshit Maharaj is a very great devotee of the Lord. He could have counter-cursed, or he could have done away with the curse. He could have negated that curse, but he doesn't do that. Imagine a person who could stay 7 days and 7 nights without water, food, and sleep, hearing the Harikatha of Krishna, where Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam was revealed. Why would he feel thirsty while going to hunting and become so aggravated that he threw a snake? That is the, evidence that Krishna, sitting as Paramatma in the heart, as a super soul, made him do that. Right? It was not the character of Parikshit Maharaj to do that. And then the character of Shringi, why a Brahmana boy did that? Usually Brahmins are tolerant. They will tolerate anything which happens to them. Why did he do that? And they never curse. Even if they curse, it is a beneficial for the other person, not in this way where they get killed, right? Why did he curse that way? Because it is said, the Acharyas say that the Kali Yuga's effect had started on the minds also, where Brahmins will deteriorate in their, values and their character. So, those are the background of Parikshit Maharaj. Now we'll quickly read through it. Parikshit Maharaj is a great first-class devotee, great first-class devotee of the Lord, and that his birth and activities are all wonderful. Born as an emperor, born into the Pandava family, rich cultural devotee heritage, he was young and powerful. He did not ask for taxes. Had no enemies like his granddad Yudhishthir Maharaj. Yudhishthir Maharaj is Ajata Shatru. He's called Ajata Shatru because he does not have enemies at all. In the same way, in the same line, Parikshit Maharaj also was Ajata Shatru. How did he renounce all his opulence, fame, name to sit at the bank of Ganga? Those who are devoted to the cause of the Supreme Personality of Godhead live only for the welfare. This is a very important point. Live for the welfare, development of happiness of others. They do not live for any selfish interest. So even though the Emperor Parikshit was free from all attachments to worldly possessions, how could he give up his mortal body, which was a shelter for others? So he actually lived a life of sacrifice, where he was living only for the happiness of others and everything. See, even his death is glorified, because even in his death, he brought welfare to the people only. He did not consider selfishly. It was not only for him. He could have learned about Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam in closed doors. He did not do that. Right? He went to the bank of river Ganga. He sat there, and a devotee is always detached. For him, giving up this opulence, fame, and name is not much. See, if you are living, holding on to that only, to give up is very difficult. But if you are living as a renunciant, right? We learned about this also. Tyaga, renunciation. What is the greatest renunciation? To use everything in the service of the Lord and to understand Krishna as the proprietor. So if he is already living that life, how is it difficult to give up that at the time of death? There is nothing to give up because everything is Krishna's only. Okay, that was the other question which was asked. Now we'll come back to the point. See, that's why I said it is everywhere. The things are everywhere. Now, after writing the Vedas, right? After writing the fifth Veda also, Vyasadeva was not happy. He was dissatisfied, it is said. He was very dissatisfied. Why was he dissatisfied? Because he did not write about bhakti. His efforts underwent strict disciplinary vows, unpretentious, worshipped the Vedas, the spiritual master, and the altar of sacrifice. See, whatever is given in the Vedas is to worship, do yagnas, do yagas, sing such songs during yagas, perform this ritual activity, you will gain this, you will gain that. All those things were given, right? But it never gave the greatest thing, which was devotional service, right? It never gave that. And that's why Vyasadeva was dissatisfied. We'll come back to this. I'll wrap up this point. How did Parikshit Maharaj give up? Because his body, his death, everything had to be used for the welfare of people. Right? And when you are in that motive, giving up your opulence, fame, and name is secondary. Your priority is doing good to the world. And devotees, especially, they live and die to help every living entity. They have seen the truth. Okay, they have seen the truth. Parikshit Maharaj has seen the truth of Krishna even before being born. And to make sure, once you see Krishna, right, you want everybody to see Krishna. If they have that motivation, then to give up this opulence, fame, and name is nothing. This is like sorry to use that. This is like sewage water for them. They have seen the milk ocean. They have seen the nectar ocean. When you've seen that Amrit, they've actually seen Amrit. When they've seen Amrit, what good is a juice of this world, right? It doesn't come close to what they have seen. And they want everybody else. And a devotee, the minute we say devotee, is their life, death, living, everything is for the welfare of other people. And that's why it was not from zero. We think he was going from 0 to 1, where immediately he was in material world, he became a spiritual person. That is a wrong understanding. See, when we look at people, devotees, we cannot understand the inner marma, we say, inner truth we cannot understand. but their heart and soul is already with Krishna. Even though when he was ruling the world, he was only ruling for Krishna. He said, I am a servant of Krishna. Krishna is the proprietor. I am his servant. I am ruling. He did not think this opulence, this comfortable bed is for me. It is also said in the Bhagavatam that when Parikshit Maharaj used to go from place to place, he never stayed at home for a long time. He never stayed in the happy palace for a long time. He used to go from place to place, and whenever he went from one place to another place, he had an agenda. He had already told the people whom the place there he was visiting, he said Harikatha should go on. And people used to perform skits. People used to do harikatha, they used to glorify the Lord, they used to sing bhajans when he was there in that place. So he motivated people to do, spirituality wherever he went. And he never stayed at home. So if that is the mentality, he lived a life of a sadhu. All in the king's body, he lived a life of a sadhu, and that's why it was easy for him to give up everything. If it is a normal person, it is very difficult. As I told you, if I have a flight in 4 hours, I will always be thinking of that, right? I can't think of anything else. Even though I'm working, I'm like, oh, maybe if I'm late, it'll happen. Did I pack everything? Oh, hopefully the check-in is not so bad. So these are the thoughts which are running. In 7 days, if he is going to die, for them this living and dying is the same for them. They're just doing service to Krishna. These are the devotees of the Lord. These are the elevated souls. And that's why we say devotion is easy and difficult. Easy because process is easy. But to implement that at the height, the caliber in which the elevated devotees are, to understand that and to even have a little bit of foot dust of theirs is very difficult, because it's a high ask. It's very difficult. We have to purify ourselves to go to that level. Okay. And then this is a dissatisfaction, right? He wrote so many Vedas, he gave the Puranas, he said, Array, these people will not understand. Let me write it in a story form. Everything he did. And even if a person follows to the dot the Vedas, they will not get anything. Why? Because it does not describe devotional service. See, there are 5 Purusharthas. Vedas give you 4 Purusharthas: Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. You do lot of Dharma Karya or Dharma activities to get Artha. Artha is money and wealth. That money and wealth, you should be using it for glorification of the Lord, to please the Lord. What happens is human mentality and material world will make you use it for karma, sense gratification. We should have spiritual karma, but we have material karma. Karma here means desires. Okay, will or desires, right? Desires, our desires are material. And then after using that karma, we are doing that karma for a long time, many janmas we do. No, I want to do that, I want to do that. And one janma you are tired. It will come, that realization will come. Punar punar charvanam. If you keep chewing the chewing gum over and over again, what happens? The taste is gone. In the same way, this karma also has a limit. It will make you dissatisfied. And that time you will think of moksha. So these 4 Purusharthas are described in the Vedas. Actually, Vedas describe bhakti, but we don't know how to see it. We don't know how to go to the root of it. We are looking at the superficial level, and in that superficial, because we are mandasumanda buddhi. We were very intelligent, we could have seen Krishna even in the Vedas. Unfortunately, we are not able to see because we are not that intelligent. And that's why there was dissatisfaction for Vyasadeva. And he said, he became very dissatisfied because he is not given devotional service, which is what? Which is dear to Krishna and the perfect beings. That means the liberated souls. And the even liberated people, right? Even the greatest elevated people enjoy hearing to the Harikatha and devotion service to Krishna, right? This devotional service is not it is not just one pointed. Oh, keep chanting all the time or keep going to the temple. It is not like that, right? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Padasevanam, all 9 limbs will come. In that, listening to Harikatha, right? Reading about Harikatha, doing Kirtan about Harikatha is also devotional service only. And you may notice that chanting is one side and hearing to Harikatha is another side. Hearing to Harikatha or reading Harikatha gives you more pleasure, devotional pleasure. And that is what he's talking about. He's saying the devotional service portion of it is missed in the Vedas. Vedas does not, it'll tell you, ar baka, it'll say like that. You have to say this mantra to do this. That does not give us pleasure. We are not seeing Krishna in that. Here in Bhagavatam, we are able to see Krishna. Every page you can see Krishna, every word you can see Krishna if we look closer. And that's why he was dissatisfied. When he was dissatisfied, at that point, Narad Muni comes there. See, this is another important lesson we have to learn. Whenever we are in distress or frustrated in our bhakti process, we have to approach a guru. We have to approach a guru. Here, that is what happened. And the guru was so merciful, he knew the heart of his disciple and he immediately came to that scene. As mentioned before, Narada Muni reached the cottage of Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa on the banks of Saraswati just as Vyasadeva was regretting his defects. What were the defects? His defect was he did not give bhakti yoga to the people of Kali Yuga. He gave all the other Vedas. He said, oh, they are Mandasu Mandabuddhi. Let me take this Veda. Let me divide it. All the Katha, all the history and all the Puranas, let me consolidate. Like Mahabharata, Puranas, Itihasa, I will give them the fifth Veda. He gave all that. But it does not talk about Krishna directly, right? It is hidden. Krishna is hidden in those. Where is bhakti? Bhakti is not mentioned only openly. Then how will we understand the Kali Yuga rejects, right? That was his defect that he did not give. And already people are enjoying. They have the mentality to enjoy in Kali Yuga. Veda will say, do this yagna, you will get 100 million, $1,000. Do this yagna, you will get a house. Do this yagna, you will get a putra. So you're first of all, people are into it. You are making them more go into that. If a drunkard is there, if you give them crates of drinks, they will enjoy that more, isn't it? Will they say, okay, I will stop drinking? No. So it was a fault of Vyasadeva that he did not give us bhakti in the Vedas and he did not give Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam initially. And he himself was dissatisfied. As Vyasadeva is feeling disappointed and dissatisfied, Sri Narad Muni, his spiritual master, arrives, allowing Srila Vyasadeva to reveal his heart and helps him remedy the cause of dissatisfaction. Vyasadeva immediately got up to worship Narad Muni with great veneration, equal to that of Brahmaji, the creator. Brahma, the first student and the professor of the Vedas, learned the transcendental science from Krishna. Brahma got this Vedas from Krishna himself. And from there it went to Narad Muni. From Narad Muni it came to Vyasadeva and taught it to Narada. Narada is a representative of Brahma and therefore respected as good as Brahma. This is the way to honor the representatives of Parampara. Krishna started with the Brahmaji, right? And he gave the Vedas to Brahma. Tene Brahma Hridaye Adikavaye, the first shloka of Bhagavatam. He manifested in the heart of Brahma and gave him the Vedas. And from there, disciplinic succession, Brahma gave it to his own son Narad Muni. Narad Muni gave it to his disciple Vyasadeva, and that's how the Vedas came. And here, when Vyasadeva approached Narad Muni actually gave him the remedy how to get over this dissatisfaction, and he will say you have to write Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. You didn't write about bhakti, and that's why you see when you are writing also you will also feel very satisfied, right? When you give something to somebody, there is a saying in, I don't know if it is Japanese or Chinese or what, the hand that offered the flower or the rose to another person will smell good. If you offer a rose to somebody, you offered it, they are happy because you are holding the rose in your hand will feel happy. That is what is happening to Vyasadeva also, where he was dissatisfied because he did not give bhakti. The minute he is able to give Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, his heart will be content. When he writes Bhagavatam, Bhagavatam is so beautiful that he will feel very satisfied. So this is chapter 4, how the advent of Bhagavatam happened, how Bhagavatam came into existence, and why Vyasadeva, in spite of writing all the Vedas and the Puranas, gave us the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, and how in our parampara, you don't have to go and read the Vedas, you don't have to go and read all the Itihasas, Puranas, Upanishads, everything. Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam is enough for us. Bhagavatam is itself a commentary on all the Vedas, right? It is a commentary on all the Vedas. If you study Bhagavatam, and if you're still interested, you can go back and read the Vedas. You will understand Vedas better. After studying and doing Swadhyaya of Bhagavatam, if you go back and read the Vedas, you will understand it better. You will be able to see Krishna. Today, if we directly go to the Vedas, we can't see Krishna with that. With that, I will end today's session, dear devotees. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to go over chapter 4.